بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. They would die for Islam. Every single one of them would die for Islam. Every single one of them will die for the Khilafah state. That was the community we had. And the longer the Islamic State in Medina lived during the lifetime of the Prophet, ﷺ, the stronger and stronger it became. Until by the time of Hudaybiyah and then Fateh Makkah, we became strongest of all. So by the time the Prophet ﷺ performed the farewell Hajj, the Islamic State was at its zenith. So we are accustomed to moving uphill with the Khilafah state, not downhill. He had only 10 years. You have had 46 years. You have to explain to the world, how is it after 46 years, all of these who've been born after the revolution, or who were children when the revolution took place, so many of them are now not happy with the revolution. And the enemy is able to exploit the situation. It is not that the Muslims, the Shia Muslims of Iran are betraying Islam, that they want to leave Islam. That is not the case. It is not that they are siding with the enemies of Islam, joining hands with Israel, joining hands with the United States to cut the throat of the revolution. That is false. That is nonsense. It is that Israel is exploiting an opportunity, and the United States is exploiting an opportunity because they are protesting in Iran. And the question we have to ask is, why is this happening? And we need honest answers. We don't need propaganda. We need honest answers. One of the very first reasons why there are all these protests in Iran is a subject I've been teaching you in Iran for 25 years or more. That's a long time. I went to Iran myself and I lectured on the subject. I met with so many ayatollahs in Iran to discuss the subject with them about money, about the Iranian rial, about the Iranian toman. And I explained to them that this money was bogus, this money was fraudulent, this money was haram. I did this to Afghanistan as well. When there was an Islamic government in Afghanistan 25, 30 years ago, and Afghanistan said, "No, Imran, you're wrong, we don't agree with you." Yes, they accepted the bogus money as halal. I tried to teach this subject to Pakistan, but nobody can teach Pakistan anything. No. The brainwashing in Pakistan is even more than in Afghanistan. So I failed with Afghanistan. I failed with Pakistan, and I was teaching it to Iran. Some of the ayatollahs I met in Iran accepted that the monetary system was bogus and fraudulent and haram. I have to pray for Allah's mercy on the soul of that great man, Ayatollah Shirazi. And this was an elderly man in Qom. And I went to his home, and he had so many of his students sitting on the floor, on the carpet. And I sat with them until the old man came and sat next to me. And this old man held my hands while talking to me. He held my hands. Unforgettable. And this old man taught me a lesson on Riba I could not teach in 1,000 lectures to show how riba sucks the wealth of the people and leaves them in destitution and poverty. And that's why they're protesting. He took 2 mugs, one with water and the other with lemonade. And he took 10 glasses and he started pouring water and lemonade, but diluting the lemonade in each glass until eventually the last glass, he said, taste it. I couldn't taste any lemonade. It was only water. He said, that's riba. That's how they rip off the people, suck the wealth of the country, and eventually you end up in destitution. This monetary system is riba. That man has now died. May Allah have mercy on his soul. But he recognized it as haram, and he was an Ayatollah. I met in Shiraz with Ayatollah bin Azadi. And Ayatollah bin Azadi also agreed with me. He said about the monetary system, the riyal and the Duma. He said, this is the root of all evil in Iran. But then I met with one of the greatest Ayatollahs in Iran. I can't mention his name. And I tried to talk to him about the subject of money. It was like talking to a blank wall. I couldn't make no sense. No, sir. He didn't know anything on the subject. I don't want to talk more about him. But the Ayatollahs told me in Iran, Sheikh, you have to go to Ayatollah Khamenei yourself. And you have to convince him that the money which is being used in Iran is bogus and fraudulent and haram. And if you can get him to change his views, then all of Iran will agree. And the dinar and dirham will be established in Iran. I said to them, I will never do such a thing. My duty is simply to teach, and I've done my job to teach. You must now bring the change. 46 years have passed, and Iran is still using bogus money, like Pakistan, like Afghanistan, like the rest of the world of Islam. But you are the Islamic Revolution. A million Iranians had to die for you to bring this revolution to success. They're shuhada. What have you done in 46 years? Dajjal is the one who brought modern Western civilization into being. You don't even recognize that as yet. How long do you take to recognize that? And modern Western civilization is the one who has brought this monetary system. The International Monetary Fund has prohibited the use of gold as money. That is shirk. That is haram. To make haram what Allah made halal is shirk. To make haram what Allah made halal is shirk, is kufr. And that's what this international monetary system has done. The reason why they have prohibited the use of gold as money is because they wanted to make sure that the paper money would not collapse. And once there is paper money, they can rule over you. They can bring down governments. But you do not have the knowledge to understand the subject, and you would not listen to me. If you are to make a change in Iran, if this revolution is not to collapse tomorrow, if you are to survive, you have to listen to me. You have to return to dinar and dirham as money. This is what is going to be money when Nabi Isa Islam returns. This is what going to be money when Imam al-Mahdi comes. Why are you waiting? If you use dinar and dirham as money, then you create a threat to the Western world and to the Judeo-Christian Zionist alliance, more powerful than any nuclear weapon. Muammar Gaddafi was attempting to do it in Libya. Look what they did to him. But you are stronger than he is. You are more powerful than he is. And if you were to bring dinar and dirham into your economy, then you will not suffer from inflation. Not at all. Inflation will vanish. Allah prohibits inflation in the Quran twice or three times. He says, وَلَا تَبْخَسُوا النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ. That is a prohibition of inflation. So if you are to fix Iran, if you are to solve the problem of all these young people demonstrating against the Islamic revolution and the government, you have to make a change with the economy. I have been saying this to you for 25 years. You've never listened to me. And if you don't listen to me, tomorrow you will collapse. They're not only protesting because of rising prices. The monetary system is only part of the reason for economic poverty and distress in Iran. They're also demonstrating because of economic hardship. And economic hardship is taking place because of Riba. It's not just in Iran, it's all over the world. Riba is sucking the blood of the people, and the world is now moving towards slavery. That's what they are demonstrating against. If you have an Islamic government, then the Islamic government, the Islamic revolution, should be able to fix the economy. How come? 46 years and you still can't fix the economy? What's wrong with you? Where are your scholars? Where is your claim to truth that you have the truth? You are the people who have the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. You have the truth. That is your claim. How come you can't fix the economy in 46 years? Why is it that the market, listen carefully, why is it that the market in Tehran is filled with thieves? That's right. People are being ripped off in the market in Iran. And Allah has sent a means by which you can restore a free and a fair market and preserve a free and a fair market. I don't have the time to give a lecture 1 hour long on how to establish a free and a fair market. I've been doing it all my life, and you wouldn't listen to me. But Allah has not only told us how to establish a free and a fair economy in 46 years. Why is it that the market, listen carefully, why is it that the market in Tehran is filled with thieves? That's right. People are being ripped off in the market in Iran. And Allah has sent a means by which you can restore a free and a fair market and preserve a free and a fair market. I don't have the time to give a lecture 1 hour long on how to establish a free and a fair market. I've been doing it all my life, and you wouldn't listen to me. But Allah has not only told us how to establish a free and a fair market, and you don't have it in Iran, even after 46 years. It is not in Pakistan, it is not in Afghanistan, it is nowhere in the world of Islam today. You had more of a free and a fair market in the Ottoman Empire than you have today, despite the fact that the Ottoman Empire was making mistakes. It is not only that we have a sunnah of a free and a fair market, not only that we have the Quran calling for a free and a fair market, but let me explain something which should be simple to understand. That Allah has given us a philosophy of punishment which guarantees the protection of a free and a fair market. Allah has given us punishment which has the philosophy of reformation, to reform people. The people who make mistakes can correct themselves when punished. Reformatory punishment. And then Allah has given punishment which is retributive, an eye for an eye, a nose for a nose. Retributive punishment. If you hit me, I have the right to hit you. But Allah has given us something more as punishment. How come you don't know about it? How come you're not implementing it? It's called deterrent punishment. That I am punishing you so that no one else will do what you did. That is deterrent punishment. And insofar as the free and the fair market is concerned, Allah says, cut off the hand of the thief. Not if he stole a mango. No, you wouldn't steal a mango and lose your hand, but something of some value. And not when there is hardship and famine in the land and people steal because of that reason. No, we suspend the law in famine. But when you are in a normal market, as you have had in Iran for 46 years, then if someone steals in the market, you cut off his hand. And from the time you cut off the first hand, nobody's going to steal after that. You won't have thieves in the market anymore. I asked the Islamic Revolution in Iran, how many hands have you cut off? How come deterrent punishment is not working in Iran? How come the market is full of thieves? Don't tell me I'm false, I'm wrong in my information. I have my students who left Europe because of me and went back to Iran. They're Shia and they're my students. And when they went back to Iran to try to do business, they said to us, Sheikh, the market is filled with thieves. We've got to go back to Europe. And they went back to Europe. This is my students. And so if you want to stop the people from demonstrating on the streets, fix the monetary system, restore a free and a fair market, implement it. In Arabic is called the hudud. I call it the philosophy of punishment. Punishment which is reformatory, punishment which is retributive, and punishment which is deterrent punishment. But there is more to explain what is happening in Iran. And the enemies of Iran are simply exploiting a door which you have opened for them. That's right. And now you have to ask the question, why is it that so many young people in Iran want freedom to live a way of life that is incompatible with the Islamic Revolution? That is my question. How do you explain that so many young people in Iran who are children of the revolution, so many of them are now demonstrating they want freedom? Freedom for what? Answer: freedom to live a way of life which is incompatible with the Islamic Revolution. How do you explain that? If you had Islam, if you had the Islam which came from the Quran and from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, then the children of the revolution will give their lives to protect Iran and will demonstrate against Israel and the United States. Stay away! We don't need your help. Stay away! You are our enemies. But no, Israel is exploiting the situation. The Mujahideen Khalqa exploiting this. That's the name they give for themselves. I didn't give them that name. And the United States and Europe is exploiting the situation. So how do you explain? They don't want to live the way of life of hijab. They want to take off the hijab. They want to be free. They don't want to cover themselves with what you call the chadar. They want to wear clothing which is tight-fitting, which is erotic and sexy clothing. They want to mingle. Boys and girls want to mingle, and they want to enjoy themselves in intimate, intimate encounters. When this is what they see from the Western world, and they want to live that way of life, which is incompatible with the revolution. In Pakistan, they've given up. They've resigned. We can't stop them. So in Pakistan, the young people are free to dance all through the night. In Iran, they're struggling the same way as in Afghanistan. They're struggling as they're in Iran. But they're losing the struggle in Afghanistan. And you are losing the struggle in Iran. And so my question is, how do you explain? If you have the true Islam, then this should not be happening. If you had the true Islam, then the children of the revolution would be in love with the Quran. The children of the revolution will be in love with Islam. The children of the revolution will give their lives for Islam. The children of the revolution will not be demonstrating the way they're demonstrating. And so it's time for you to wake up. Your scholars have to wake up. It's time for you to listen. And I am saying to you that the Islam that you are presenting to them in Iran is not attractive to them. It's not attractive to them. The Islam that we had in Medina was so attractive that all the slaves wanted to become Muslim. The Islam was such that all the oppressed became Muslim. The Islam was such that the young people were foremost, up front, in defending the revolution waged by Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Before I end this appeal to Iran, before you collapse, because collapse is facing you in your face, you can't hide it. Collapse is facing you in your face. If this is what you're facing today, wait and see what tomorrow comes in store. Because the cell phone and the smartphone and the internet has come to stay. And they're spreading the Western propaganda all the time. And Dajjal is at work. And your young people, instead of falling in love with the Quran, are dancing with Dajjal. That's why you have the demonstrations on the street. How do you do it? How do you respond to it? How do you solve the problem? You don't solve the problem with the police. You cannot solve the problem with the Revolutionary Guards. You cannot solve the problem with tear gas. You cannot solve the problem by killing another 3,000 that you've already killed. The way to solve the problem is to give them a version of Islam that these young people will fall in love with it. They will fall in love with the Quran. How many times do I have to say this to you? You will not listen to me. Before I end, one more thing. It's not just deterrent punishment in the Quran, but Allah asks you to establish deterrent power. Allah speaks in Surah Al-Anfal, and He says, it's a command, وَعِدُّ لَهُمْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ وَمِن رِبَاطِ الْخَيْلِ. Why does Allah want you to build power? Answer, تُرْهِبُونَ بِهِ عَدُوَّ اللَّهِ وَعَدُوَّكُمْ. I want you to build power so that you can use power as a deterrent. Korea has nuclear power, and Korea has demonstrated effectively that it is using that nuclear power as a deterrent. They cannot attack Korea. No. They could attack Iran. They could kill the head of the Iranian armed forces. They could kill and assassinate the head of the Revolutionary Guards. They could kill 6 nuclear scientists. I don't know what Mohammed they killed. They could bomb Iranian nuclear sites. And what can you do except to shoot off some missiles? And they will come again and again and again. When will you wake up, Iran, to understand you have to do what Korea did? You have to do what Pakistan did. You have to do what China did. You have to do what Russia did. When you build nuclear power, that nuclear power functions as a deterrent. And that is Allah's command in the Quran. Why is Iran a member of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty? Pakistan is not a member. Why? Answer: if you remain in the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, then you will be committing a sin for which you will have to answer on Judgment Day, for if you develop nuclear weapons. The only way you can become a nuclear power is the honest way and the upright way, and that is you must exit the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. We are no longer bound by the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. And then Iran must develop nuclear power, and Iran has enough friends to help them. And when you explode your first nuclear device, Israel will respect you on that day. When you you explode your first nuclear device, like Indira Gandhi did in India after the Lahore Summit Conference frightened her, then India joined the nuclear club. And then Zulfikar Ali Bhutto declared, even if we have to eat grass, that's what he said, even if we have to eat grass, we have to develop a nuclear deterrence. That's the way for you forward in Iran. If you don't listen to me today, tomorrow you'll collapse. I will weep when you collapse because you are my brothers and I love you. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.